The Chicago suburb of Romeoville, Illinois, and the Brunswick Zone XL have hosted the 2008 U.S. Women's Open. With incredible matches all week, it's time for the finalists to take center stage, and it is next. And then there were four. After 34 games of bowling on 5 different PBA experience patterns, the final 4 finalists for the U.S. Women's Open title are ready to have their moment in the sun.
Welcome to the Brunswick Zone XL, Romeoville, Illinois. This is the 2008 U.S. Women's Open. Our first semifinal match. Meet our number 6 seed from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the 2001 World 10-Pin Masters champion, Shalin Zulkifli. Her opponent is the number 2 qualifier from Columbus, Ohio, 2007 Dayton Open champion, Trisha Reid. In our other semifinal match, the 12th seed from Dover, Delaware, a 9-time pro titleist, including 2 majors, Terrell-Kearney. Her opponent is the number 1 seed from North Richland Hills, Texas, 20-time pro champion, including the 2001 Queens, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. And now, let's go laneside to 2 bowling greats on the lanes and behind the mic, Marshall Holman and Nelson Burton Jr.
Hi, I'm Bo Burton. We started with a field of 186 ladies representing 9 countries. They bowled 32 games of qualifying, then they went into the quarterfinal round. We eliminated all the players, but now we're down to 4, and here is our field for today's round. And with me, with his expert commentary, is Marshall Holman. Marshall, 4 different styles, and anyone can win.
Well, I agree, Bo, but, you know, they worked all this time, these last 4 weeks, to make it to today, and I really like the expertise of Zulkifli from Malaysia. But if I had to bet my own money, how can you bet against Carolyn Dorin-Ballard? This is the only big tournament she hasn't won. She's looked absolutely unbeatable. I see her taking home the money.
All right, Marshall, you know your stuff. There are 4 ladies left. Anyone can win. And the third person in our announce crew is Kathy Dorin-Lizzie.
Tonight's semifinal matches are all about experience. Shalin Zulkifli has a resume a mile long with international successes. She's going up against our young firecracker and up-and-coming star, Trisha Reid, who, by the way, is the only lefty to make the top 16. She has absolutely nothing to lose at this point and proved that to get to this level. The winner of that is going to have to go up against our superstar and legends, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard and Terrell-Kearney. Experience, experience, experience. Also, Terrell, she's a past champion of this event, and those 2 girls know how to win tournaments. They can teach anybody in this building how to do so. The girl tonight that keeps her emotions in check and plays the lanes correctly is going to be the champion.
We're ready for the semi-finalist in the U.S. Open version 2008. We have 2 simultaneous matches going on in the semifinals. On the left lane, 39 and 40, it's Terrell-Kearney and Dorin-Ballard. On the right-hand lane, it's Zulkifli and Reid. Here we are, first shot semifinals. Terrell, former 2001 U.S. Open champion, trying to win her 2nd major.
Great opening shot, and it's more important for her to keep the speed up on lane 40 than it is lane 39. Lane 39 has been hanging a little bit, doesn't finish quite as hard as we watch Shalin Zulkifli from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And she doesn't have any problem throwing the ball hard, does she, Bo?
No, and that's the shot we saw her shoot probably the biggest game we had in all the qualifying here at 266, and she's continued and picked up right where she left off. But here is the young lady that ran away with the qualifying, averaged 217 for 32 games, and then 1 or 2 quarterfinal matches.
Starts out with a solid 10, quality shot. 6-pin does not cooperate, and now we have Trisha Reid on lane 42. Our only lefty. And a powerful strike from Reid.
Well, she seems unflappable, doesn't she, Marshall? We watched her in the quarterfinals, and she just took this like a walk in the park. And does she realize she's bowling for the women's U.S. Open title? So
maybe not. As we see a spare made by Dorin-Ballard, and getting back to Trisha Reid, I really think if she can just remain somewhat oblivious to the pressures that's all around her, she has an excellent ball reaction and could certainly spoil a lot of hopes from the other ladies.
I agree, and there's no back off in her.
Ooh, solid 7.
In her quarterfinal matches, Marshall, I only remember her getting tapped on an apparent good hit one time. It was a 7-pin, but she was terrific on the light hits and breezed through her matches. Now, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard up left-hand lane, solid 10 in the first frame, trying to get her first strike.
Well, ringing 10 on lane 40, flat 10 on lane 39.
And not to bring up a sore subject, I thought Carolyn would win it last year when Liz Johnson took it all, and that's the exact same thing that happened to Carolyn last year. 10-pin, 10-pin, 10-pin. Just Trisha, no problem with the 7.
Now let's take a look at Carolyn's shot. It's just coming in a little bit late, hits half pocket, 6-pin lays in the channel and doesn't pop out and knock down to 10.
She's bowled all her quarter-final games on that pair and averaged 242, Marshall.
So she's carried most of it, though.
And she knows that 39, as you put it, hangs a little bit, just doesn't quite finish, and she adjusted, as you remember, with maybe 1 mile an hour less ball speed. Now, Shalin up, second frame.
That's for the early lead, and that ball was left on her target, but she throws the ball so hard it held the pocket. She's actually looks like she's developed a little bit of area, and that is the bowler's friend.
No kidding. When you can pull it, not hit the nose, and have a potential strike, it's almost Katie bar the door. Now, Kim Terrell.
Terrell-Kearney looking very, very strong early.
You know, it's almost like Kim knows that Carolyn's going to throw strikes and be tough to beat, and she's bowling with a relaxed attitude that says, hey, you know, there's no pressure on me. I just got to really throw a lot of relaxed strikes and not try to shoot 190 or 2-0. I got to shoot a 220 or 30. Now Shalin going for 3 in a row to open up a 20-pin lead over Trish Reid.
Oh, 9-pin standing. No, 9-pin gone. Take a look at this shot, Bo. This is going to drive past the 9-pin. What comes back and gets it?
The ghost gets the 9. Kim Terrell, perfect through 2.
Solid 10 for Kearney. Boy, great shot, but a lot of really good quality shots, just getting 9.
Everybody off to a good start. Trisha Reid up.
She pulled it, and she gets the ultimate break. She trips the 4-pin. You can see that was right off her hand immediately. Nice to get a good break. That'll loosen you up.
Well, if you miss far enough in bowling for sure, you can also get paid reward. That's what happened. She tripped the 4. Now Terrell cross lane for the 10-pin, taking her time.
Got a slide. Oh, boy, you just can't miss single pins.
I said it in an earlier match, Marshall. I kept track on the ABC Tour. When you miss a single pin on the tour in the final rounds, you lost the match 87% of the time. Doesn't bode well for Kim Terrell-Kearney.
And there's nothing that's more enjoyable than taking a terrible shot and backing it up with a good one and making a double.
Competitors close-up, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, 20 PBA titles, BWBA titles, and the 2001 PWBA of the year. Today's commentators close-ups are brought to you by our online destination, bowl.com.
She's got her ball speed at 18.1 mile per hour, that shot.
She was 17.7 in her quarterfinal win on this pair. Now, Shalin up perfect through 3, can regain her 20-pin lead.
She didn't pull that one, and it hung, leaving the 2, the 4, and the 10.
Ballard leads by 2, can make it 12.
Uh-oh. Look at that ball hang on and strike. I'll tell you what, she scares me. The ball gets so close to the channel. I'm looking at her husband, Ballard, and he's going, she doesn't throw the ball in the channel. I do.
Shalin 4, the 2-4-10. Near miss. This match is very competitive, just like we thought it would be, Marshall. Trish got the great break. Shalin made a mistake, and we are right there.
See the competitor close up, the Delaware coach. And she coached herself right into a strike on lane 40. I think she, you got to forget about that 10-pin you missed, but she's thinking about it right now.
Scoreboard never forgets it, and
No.
It's very important for Kim to come back with a double here. It will kind of erase the bad taste of the missed 10-pin. Now, Shalin, see how she can bounce back after the open in the 4th.
Great shot, solid 10. She gives herself a little pat of approval. She liked the way she threw the ball. Sometimes, the shots just don't strike.
Okay, Terrell trails by 12, strike working, 5th frame. If she strikes here, will only trail by 2.
That's got to slide. Way left off her hand.
The big hook just does not work for consistency out there.
That was
Marshall.
two and a half boards further left than her previous shot on that lane.
No good. Six pin, relatively easy for Kim. Cross lane, probably the easiest spare to make for a right-handed bowler.
I agree. All right, we're going to go to break. Let's take a look at some former champions of the Women's U.S. Open.
Women's Open, a USBC event from Brunswick Zone XL in Romeoville, Illinois.
Well, we'll take a look at Trisha Reid on the computer-aided tracking system data. You can see that the speed control is very, very good. In the 3rd frame, she crossed over and got that Brooklyn strike. She moved her ball. There's a couple of boards further right than she actually wanted it. Now, using slow motion, let's take a look at her first strike, which was a very, very nice delivery. Good extension down the lane. Just the way you like it. Good young talent.
All
She
right.
enjoyed watching that too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now up on lane 40, Kim Terrell-Kearney, spare up, leading in the match by 2 pins, 6 frame.
Well, there it is again, the so-called ghost pin, which
I love it.
a solid 9. Just the ball just drives right in front of the 9 pin. The balls are so strong in today's game, and the pins, no match for them.
Those pins with that ball speed, Marshall traveled about 25 miles an hour, and they do jump. Now, Shalin up on the right-hand lane.
Boy, she made a great adjustment for the 2-4-10 the last time on that lane, and she got paid nothing for it. Left the 7-10 just like Dorin-Ballard had a couple frames ago. All right. Terrell-Kearney makes the spare, although she made it a little bit interesting.
Marshall, I get no feeling of who's got control of either one of these matches. It goes back and forth, good breaks, bad breaks. They're all separated by just a few pins. Shalin wisely just goes for 1 pin.
Well, Reid really hasn't had too many bad breaks in this game. She's had a solid 7, but really she's had a lot of good fortune so far.
Right. She got 2 7 pins, but then she got the great break so far in the whole match among all 4 players when she crossed over and tripped the 4. Now, Kim up on the left-hand lane, 7th frame.
Boy, she looks to be really in control of her strike ball. You know, she missed that 110 pin, but of all the 4 players, she was the one we were concerned with her slower speed and the way that she likes to circle it a little bit. We were concerned she might lose the pocket, but she's looking good.
And she's not panicking.
Not at all.
Now, let's see how Shalin can bounce back.
Great strike. She's a very confident player, a very experienced player. I was told she's had approximately 150 international telecasts.
Wow.
And she's 30.
The Malaysian newspaper had her on all over in full color yesterday.
This is to take the lead. All right. That's a little bit better. That's almost the same shot she threw when she left the 710, but cooperation this time is Trisha Reid on lane 42. Well, she hits us high on the head pin, lucky just to leave the 7 pin. I think, well, we'll take a look at this shot. You can see how it's going to cross right into the head pin, almost gets what they used to call the Jersey squasher. That was a couple boards right of her target. And it may be sinking in exactly what she's doing now, and she looks like she may be getting a little bit nervous.
Ballard up on 39, can extend her lead to 19 with a strike. Yes, right there. Put some pressure right back on Kearney. You know, Trisha Reid also, Marshall, is she's missing far enough to actually get good breaks. You know, when you miss just a little bit in bowling is when you get the big 4 or the 4-6 or something like that. So far it's all gone her way, and she's capitalized on it.
Yeah,
Been very good on the 7 pin and her spare.
Very good on her spare shooting.
The 2001 U.S. Open champion, Kim Terrell-Kearney, up in the 8th frame. It's getting late. This is a key strike. You can't let Carolyn sit on the bench and maintain that lead. You must cut it to 9 pins right here.
Oh, my. And there's her husband, Eric, and he can't believe it. That ball was perfect. And if there's one thing in the game of bowling I don't like, it's a solid 8 for the right-handed bowler or a solid 9 for the left-hander. She did exactly what her job was, and she didn't get rewarded at all.
I agree.
Great shot from Trisha Reid, getting late in the game, and she's starting to make good shots again.
A lot of Trisha Reid fans on hand. Shalin from Kuala Lumpur, which is on the west coast of Malaysia. Doesn't have her next door neighbor here with her.
Well, it's just such a bad break for Kim Terrell-Kearney. I mean, just absolutely threw it just as good as humanly possible.
Okay, coming down to crunch time. Shalin needs a strike. She trails by 26, 8th frame.
Well, she really spun that one. And it accelerated down the lane, and she left a wide open split, and now she's making it easy on Trisha Reid.
There's almost no way to make this split, is there, Marshall?
You just have to get lucky and, you know, try and hit the 2 and the 8 and hope something bounces, but you're right. And for Terrell-Kearney, she, by all rights, should have 3 strikes in a row. Solid 9 strikes, solid 8. One thing Shalin has in her favor is she can throw it hard. But I haven't seen too many pins bouncing out of the back on this lane surface.
No, they don't bounce out. They go side to side, but don't bounce out. Now Carolyn Dorin-Ballard knows how tough Kim is, so she's going to bear down here. She can take a 29 pin lead here in the 9th frame. If she can strike here and spare in the 10th, she would be locked jaws and go into the finals. Here we go, key shot.
Hurry up. Solid 10. You know, she's had a few bad breaks of her own. She's left some solid 10. She left a solid 7-10. But the solid 9 and the solid 8 of Kearney really override any bad breaks that Ballard's had.
I agree. There's 39 boards on the lane, 42 inches wide, and we call the perfect pocket 17.5 board, and nobody's been getting rewarded for that. The light hit, once again, as Shalin shows, pays the biggest dividends in this bowling center.
And her best score is 200 right now. Her opponent going in a 2-team pace.
Ballard has been perfect on the 10 pin all the way through the qualifying rounds. Once again, does same. Now, the situation for the match on the left is
she needs to double to lock out Terrell-Kearney. 2 strikes and 3. And for Trisha Reid, she needs 1 mark in the next 2 frames. And she has had everything going her way this game. That's going to shut out her match. She knows it wasn't a great shot, but she will take it.
a little bit of unconscious confidence there, partner. Now, this match is still up for grab. Terrell-Kearney can go 216. Dorin-Ballard working at a 214 pace. Anything can happen. 10th frame.
Well, she's going to leave it a little bit open. The door is open a little bit for Kim Terrell-Kearney, and she has made great shots, so still in the wood.
Well, there's a gal that cashes in every break, and she is going to be bowling for the U.S. Women's Open title.
And I think she's starting to understand that. I think it's starting to sink in, the magnitude of what she's doing.
She's watching Carolyn also. She hadn't looked over at any time during the day.
Big spare for Carolyn. Oh, that is just so unlike her. Right now, instead of needing 2 strikes, she's only going to need 1. This ball just barely slips off the right-hand side. One of the great spare shooters in all of bowling, whether it be women or men, in a key time, very uncharacteristic.
Here's the situation for Kim Terrell-Kearney. She needs a strike on this ball and 7 spare. She must strike. It's mandatory. This is the one that'll send her into the finals.
She lofted it, and she has done it.
Well, she still needs a count. She still needs a count. It's not over.
Yep, she needs.
All right, ladies.
Carolyn was congratulating her, but she needs to get a decent count here. A little more loft.
That's a Sunday ball, Marshall. She just caught it full with her wrist. That was a terrific shot. Now, she needs 7 spare or 9 on the first ball. A strike, obviously, is Lock City.
That'll do it.
It's a winner. An upset winner. Even though she's a former U.S. Open champion, that is an upset win over the tournament favorite, Dorin-Ballard.
In our opening, I picked Dorin-Ballard and Zulkifli. So much for my prognostications.
You're the only one that's perfect so far today, then.
I'm a perfect
0 for 2.
0 and 2. Thank you.
These are the 2 players that advance to our finals, Reid and Terrell-Kearney. They will be bowling for the 2008 U.S. Women's Open Championship right after this. Stay tuned. It's being brought to you by the United States Bowling Congress, the sport's governing body, growing the sport and protecting the integrity of the game. By Bowl.com, the USBC's official website and bowling's premier online destination. And by the Bowling Foundation, 67 million bowlers contributing through one voice. Thank you, Bowling Foundation.
Well, let's take a look at Trisha Reid via slow motion. You can see the ball going down over around the 5 or 6 board, breaking nicely into the 1-2 pocket, and all the pins cooperating. And then we'll take a look at Kim Terrell-Kearney, also with that slow motion. She lays the ball down around the 6 board. It floats out down to the break point, and makes the hard move back into the pocket. Here's some CATS data on Kim. You can see that her ball speed was from 16.6 to 17.2, and she was just a little bit slower on lane 39. That's the lane that didn't hook quite as much.
The keys to success are sponsored by USBC Coaching. Locate a certified coach in your area by logging on to the Find a Coach feature on bowl.com.
And as you can see, the key for Trisha Reid is to treat this like just another game, not get caught up in the moment. And for Kim Terrell-Kearney, she's got experience and she needs to have the ability to adjust to this new pair. And that's a pretty good adjustment, Bo. 10 in the pit to start out the game.
Well, the ladies had a few minutes practice in between here, between the semifinal and the final of this 2008 U.S. Women's Open, and Kim did not get a strike on the left-hand lane. That is the first strike she had. She's up to the moment. Let's see how the youngster, the upstart, Trisha Reid reacts, going for the big one.
Now she comes in a little light, and she's got a, maybe it's just my perception, but a little bit of a deer in the headlights look right now. This is a big moment. As I said earlier, she's got to treat this like it's just another game, but it isn't.
Just another game. You're bowling for the U.S. Open. Never happened. We'll see what happens. She's off to a pretty good start. Keeps it light. You don't hit the nose. You usually end up with some pretty good stuff happening.
And a nice spare.
I think one of the keys, Marshall, will be this shot. Watching them practice, Trisha continued to strike on lane 41 as she did in her semifinal match. Remember, she got those 2 great breaks on 42 crossovers, and I think she kind of also tried to make an adjustment, move in to avoid the crossovers, and overdid it on 42. So let's see if it's where she has her same A game going and still continues to hit 41. It's important to never lose your good lane in a match play.
Well, there's the 4, 6, and 10. And it's a nightmare start right now for Trisha Reid. This ball simply right off her hand. It's going to hook right through the heart. And like the good break she got last game, it wasn't to be there.
Just go for 2 pins, the 6-10. There's no point in going for this. Probably 500 to 1 odds, plus you lose pin count.
Yeah, she did the right thing. There's still 8 frames to go. It's not time to panic.
The 2001 U.S. Open champion coming up on the right-hand lane. Her opponent has given her a big open in the second. She is working on a strike. Let's see if she does what the great Dick Weber used to do when he won U.S. Opens. Jump on your opponent right away. Get them while they're down. Big shot actually early in the match. Boy, you can hear the crack from here, Mark.
Just pure, great shot off her hand. We'll take another look at this delivery. Boy, really lays the ball down smoothly. Makes a nice, even arc into the pocket, and every pin does its job.
I like her hand and wrist rotation. Very stylish out there in her ladies bowling shirt. Looks like very new style she has on.
Going for 3 in a row. That's got to get up to the pocket. And it leaves the flat 10. Good shot.
2 of the big players in the sport of bowling. Tom Clark in attendance, the COO of the PBA, and one of the all-time greats, voted one of the top 20 players of all times, Carmen Salvino, a Chicago local.
My hero. I'll tell you, back in the 60s when I was watching bowling as a young man, that's the guy I watched.
I watched him a lot in the 50s. He's a great guy. Still in terrific shape. Now, Terrell, remember, she missed a 10-pin in the semifinal. Let's see what she does here.
I bet she thought about it before she threw at it. Gave it a little more concentration, makes a nice spare. See? Good luck, I made it.
That's staying in the moment.
Absolutely. Well done.
I asked Trisha Reid what her expectations coming into this tournament were, and she said, really none. She says, I'm bowling to have fun. I won a tournament in Dayton last year. I've been throwing the ball pretty good. Don't have any goals, just want to see how good I am. Well, she's bowling for the big one right now.
She trips the 6-pin. That can help loosen her up. This ball's going to drive in just a tad high. As we can see, it comes in just a little bit high in the 1-2 pocket. Pin goes to the sideboard. Bang. All right.
You know, you get good carry like that, Marshall, when you're relaxed. We know that. You know, if you're really squeezing it, you'll leave a 6-pin or even a 6-8 split, so it shows that she's really in the moment.
Well, she cuts that lead down to 13. She's right back in this match, Bo.
Yes, she is, and especially because she hit the right-hand lane. 42, she was close on that, but Kim Terrell, all three balls in the pocket. Strike, strike, 10-pin, converts it up in the fourth.
Another good shot. Look at that 10-pin kick out. That's what you wanted last time. Terrell's husband certainly approves.
Well, we have multiple U.S. Open champions, and look at Marion Ladewig with 9 of them. I had the good fortune of bowling against her, setting pins with her, and by far the most dominant woman bowler in U.S. Open history. And Kim Terrell can add her name to that list if she can win this game. We're coming up in the 5th frame. She has a 13-pin lead. Strike working can make it 23.
Well, she made the great adjustment after leaving the flat 10 last time on lane 41. As we take a look at Robin Romeo, the 89 U.S. Women Opens champion, and a great, great lady.
Boy, she is one of the really nice ladies in all of this sport, and everybody's shaking their head as we say that. Now, Trisha Reid. Let's see if she can once again conquer this lane 42. She has 2 strikes working, has to keep the pressure on Terrell-Kearney.
Well, she gave it room. Oh, comes up just a little high. She leaves the 6-pin that time. She liked it off her hand. When she lets go of this ball, I think she likes it. It looks like she kind of leans a little bit to the right when she throws her ball, as if she's helping it a bit, but that's just her style.
And she didn't expect that lane to snap that much. She's been high almost every shot on 42, and she needs to tweak it just a little bit more to win this tournament.
Well, she hit exactly the same place at the arrows, 8.2 board on the left-hand side of lane 42. She tripped the 6 in the 3rd frame. In the 5th frame, it stood.
Boy, all your technology there doesn't lie, does it, Marsh?
Makes me look good, eh, Bo?
But 8.2 board, that is really getting down to it, and ends up in the same place.
Now she leaves the 3-pin, and that ball looked like it was a little bit faster. As we take a look at Tony Reid, Trisha's father, and who I talked to a little bit prior to the telecast, and he said he's not nervous for this one. He was nervous in the first telecast she was on.
Well, that shows that all of them are getting experience in the Reid family this week. All right, convert this spare. She will trail by 25 pins through 6 frames. There's their lady going for her 2nd U.S. Open champion, and there are many other past champions that have won this title. Time, Kim Terrell-Kearney leads by 25 pins, just 4 frames remaining in the 2008 U.S. Women's Open. Boy, if she strikes here, Marshall, she will really put some pressure on Reid.
She's had a few minutes to think about it during commercial. Leaves just the 10-pin. You can see her ball speed, 17.7 miles per hour. Yeah, Trisha's just sort of sitting there. I don't know what she'd be thinking right now. It's quite a moment for a young lady. sure Terrell-Kearney is saying to herself, I'm never missing another 10 pins throughout the rest of this day.
4 frames left. Kim Terrell-Kearney leads by 24. Spare working. Trisha Reid sitting down, contemplating what she must do to get into this match, win her first title and the U.S. Women's Open. Here we go. Focus. Those eyes are focused, and so are those.
Well, as you like to say, Bo, she really is bowling a very professional game, Terrell-Kearney. She has not missed the pocket. She leaves with 4-pin, comes in just a tad high here, but as we take another look at this last shot, she caught it pretty firm with her fingers that time, and the ball just snapped a little bit early down the lane. 4-pin should not be any problem. She switches balls. Hard swing, no problem, good spare.
Well, as you look at the match getting set up, and considering it's probably going to go to the 10th frame, Marshall, a couple of the key shots are for Trish right here in the 7th and 9th. She's been shaky in her semifinal match on this lane. She's been a little shaky on this lane so far in this match. We know she can hit the left lane 41, so if she can set up a strike here, capitalize it in the 8th frame, we will be down to just 2 frames, and anybody can win. Kathy Dorin-Lizzie has some information for us. What do you have, Kath?
Well, it appears Trisha just switched balls back to her vapor zone, which that was the ball she used earlier, and it gives her a lot of confidence. I think that right lane's starting to break down for her, and she feels a lot more comfortable going with that ball. Smart move.
Kathy, it takes a lot of guts with 2 frames, 3 frames left in the U.S. Open to switch balls. Give her credit.
Well, good luck on this spare. Shooting the strike ball, and she makes it. I would have been afraid to throw a ball that hooks at that kind of a spare, but she puts it right where it needed to be, right in between the 3 and the 5.
Well, she has confidence and determination and looks like she's fearless, and that's a pretty good combination, Marshall. Just 3 frames left.
Well, she's using one ball for the left-hand lane and a totally different one for the right.
Gutsy.
She needs to hit a good lane right now. She came up on that ball. She just came right out of it. Right as she let it go, her whole body raised up. Ball was right off her hand and just into the nose. You can take a look as she throws this ball. She doesn't stay down with it. She doesn't stay through it. She's coming up as she's throwing the ball.
Boy, that shot really shows it, too.
Yeah. She makes her spare, but right now for Terrell-Kearney, it's just a matter of just filling frames and continuing to put the pressure on young Trisha Reid.
Well, Kim tries not to ever get ahead of herself. She can see the trophy sitting out there, and it's really, she determines who's going to win, because there's no amount of strikes Reid can throw if Kim does not get an open frame.
Seven pin for Kim Terrell-Kearney. And you're right, Bo. If she just continues to mark, she'll be in great shape.
Going at a 2:16 pace with a spare, best Trisha Reid can do is 2:10. But anything happens. We've seen these U.S. Opens years after years. The craziest stuff happens. So anybody can still win. We asked Kim what it would mean to her to win a second U.S. Women's Open tournament.
You know, I'm itching for that 10th title. It feels like it would kind of put an exclamation mark at the end of my career. And then another major on top of it. I mean, nothing beats the U.S. Open, so wow.
All right, Kim Terrell-Kearney on lane 41, the 9th frame. She knows she just needs to fill frames, and I've heard you say it a lot of times, Bo, the best way to fill a frame is just to get the strike.
You still got to be aggressive. I totally agree. Let's see what happens.
Beautiful.
That's not a hard spare to make when you throw it like that.
That's the best kind.
Now, 2 things can happen here. Here's the situation. Trisha Reid can strike out and force Kim Terrell-Kearney to mark in the 10th for the title. If Trisha Reid doesn't throw a couple of strikes, Kim Terrell will win sitting down and watching her opponent. Here we go. mandatory that she throw a strike on this shot.
And this is a lane that has been giving her trouble, Bo.
She's up to the task, March.
All right, there's the first part of the equation.
Well, she just went with her A game. She was nice and relaxed, gave it a little more room, made that ball change as Kathy Dorin-Lizzie pilled out, and now it comes down to, after 35 games of competitive bowling, Trisha Reid must strike on this ball to have any chance. It is mandatory. Here we go. We have a new U.S. Women's Open champion.
And I'm sure that Kim Terrell-Kearney right now is a little bit surprised that she's in this situation. You know, she was really on the ropes with Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, and Ballard missed that 10 pin in the 10th frame and really gave Terrell-Kearney some new-found life.
Well, it's match game competition. She's won all the tight matches, won the match against Aspady. Just everything has gone so well, and deservedly so. Trisha Reid will be back. She'll win again, or win, obviously, our first time out here on the women's tour. She's also eligible for the PBA Women's Series, so we'll see both these ladies in the fall.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing them. There's actually a Women's Series tournament in my hometown of Medford, Oregon in early January. I'm looking forward to having all the ladies over.
That'll be good. Now, a little victory lap. This is fun, Marshall. You don't often get to bowl a tournament of any kind, much less a major tournament, and get up in the 10th frame completely relaxed and just show your stuff.
Well, I think right now, if anything, it's going to be a show of emotion for Kim. She goes, that's okay. Yeah, here they come. Their tears of victory. And her husband is just thrilled. They just were married last year, so this is the first victory for Kim Terrell with Kearney as her last name.
Sellout crowd, standing ovation, all well-deserved.
And she made another 10-pin.
Kim Terrell-Kearney is the new 2008 U.S. Women's Open champion. We'll come back with a final score and talk with her right after this.